Hi everybody, it's Chris Cut, NSXTRA from Instagram and YouTube. I asked you guys to ask me questions about me and my builds, anything you guys wanted to ask, and this is what this is. This is a Q&A segment that I'm doing on my YouTube channel where I'm answering your guys' questions. So the first question comes from...
So the real Buddha wants to know, do you plan to make the NSX any more powerful than it already is?
Okay, so that's kind of a loaded question. I would love for the NSX to have more power. It certainly lacks it. It's a really light car, so it doesn't need a lot of power. I honestly think anywhere from 350 to 450 would be perfect. Now, in order to do that with the C series that comes in the NSX, it's extremely expensive to do. Science of Speed sells a turbo kit that'll probably give you around 450-ish. But that's around 16 grand, and then you have to pay to tune it and everything. You're looking at spending in between 10 and 20 grand to get the desired horsepower of 450 horsepower. Now, there are other options. I can do a K series, and that would be very, very cheap. And you could boost that, and I am actually more familiar with those engines than I am with these C series. So that is something that I may do in the future. However, I'm working currently with this guy on Instagram, and my involvement is limited. I'm happy to be involved in it at all, but he's going to actually send somebody here to 3D scan my engine bay, the empty engine bay in the NSX trailer, because he wants to get the dimensions, because he's actually fusing two K24s together to essentially make a Honda K Series V8, and that's very cool. And if something like that were to ever become available, I would absolutely love to put something like that in one of these cars, and I'd like to be the first person to do it. So again, I'm working with him. I should say I use that loosely. My involvement is very minimal, and I'll help him in any way I can. But if it does become available, I would love to do that. But we'll see. As far as just the simple answer to the question, I would love to have more power in these cars, and someday I will. I just don't know what route I'll take.
Okay, next question. Red Herring Photography wants to know, when are we shooting next?
Alright, so Red Herring Photography is my friend Martin. What's up, Martin? He's awesome. He's got me featured in Super Street I don't even know how many times. His photos have been featured in Super Street like 7 or 8 times just in the last year alone, which I think is some kind of record for any kind of Super Street photographer. He's really good. So Martin, I will shoot with you whenever you want, man, and I hope, actually this Wednesday you said you're going to be in town. I'll hit you up and maybe we could do a little shoot with the trailer.
Alright, next question. HS_337. How did you feel about H2O this year?
Okay, so I love H2O, and I just love the whole vibe of cruising down the strip and seeing palm trees and hanging out with my friends and having orange crushes on the beach and all that good stuff, and just cruising around and seeing all the awesome cars. However, I've only been going for a few years now, and it's progressively getting more out of control, and a lot of people are quick to blame the clout chasers and the stuff you see on Instagram, like burnouts and stuff gets shown on it. So people come there and they think they can get rowdy and get away with it and misbehave. And to an extent, it's victimless people doing burnouts and hanging out and having fun, and it's only for a weekend. The real issue, I think, is the police. They're absolutely bonkers and just drunk on power trips, and if the cops weren't there, H2O would just be people doing burnouts and having a good time, and it would be no harm. But what happens is the cops get out of control. They start tackling girls. They start giving people tickets for the most ridiculous things. A friend of mine, as soon as he pulled over the bridge in the Ocean City in his NSX, they pulled him over because his windows were tinted. Well, let's face it, they pulled him over just because they were pulling everybody over, but that was the reason they gave. And he had just had eye surgery, I believe, and he had a doctor's note for the tints on his windows. But the police didn't care, and they impounded his NSX anyway, and they charged him, I think, $1,300 or $1,500 to get it out. And that's not some novel story. There's hundreds of people there with similar stories, and I just think it's ridiculous. And when the police enforce the mayor's draconian laws, there's gonna be people that are gonna push back, and there's gonna be people that are going to have issues with the way the police are behaving, and they're gonna rebel. And like I said, I just hope next year the police can be a little more laid back, and I promise that the worst thing that will happen is there'll be some burnouts and a couple people will be drunk and act up, and that's it. But there won't be any big mobs. So, but anyway, I love H2O, and I go there just to hang out with my friends and cruise the strip. I don't want to cause any trouble.
Next question, Willie_Yee. What was your first car you modified, and what mod was it?
Okay. I'm not going to answer that question, but what I am going to do is whoever sees this, the first people that can come up with that answer of what my first car was, and messages me on Instagram, will win an NSXTRA Lean Customs pin. The reason being is I want you guys to do your own research on that. There's been several articles about me and my car and my build, and specifically this is what you guys need to do to win. You need to message me on Instagram. You need to provide what my first car was and what my first job was. If you guys can provide both of those things, what I did for work before this and what my first car was, then you'll win a pin. In fact, you know what? I'll do it this way. The first 3 people that message me with that answer each get a pin. Both of those answers.
Alright, next question. Juan NSX, when will you buy an NC1?
I'd like to say never, but you know what? They are cool cars, and I would like to own one. I just don't believe they're an actual NSX. I think Honda just kind of threw a badge on there. I guess the short answer is I will keep talking crap about those cars until I could personally drive the price down to around $70,000, and then I'll buy one. And I'll buy one just to talk crap to the other NC1 owners because I hate them.
Okay, this next page has a few questions. It's QWK_collections_garage. The first question is, why an NSX?
Well, when I was 9 years old, my dentist had one, and me and my friends used to just skateboard down there and go hang out there just to look at it all day. And they're beautiful cars, and I always liked the way they looked when I was younger. And then I learned more about them, and then Pulp Fiction came out, and the more I learned about them, the more I liked them. The fact that they're all aluminum and mid-engine platforms, there's really nothing else like it. I like mid-engine platforms. If it wasn't this, it was going to be an MR2, but they're actually going up in value too, and it's really hard to find ones that aren't rusty and clapped up.
That same page wants to know, what's next on the channel?
Well, specifically, I'm working on the front of the NSX right now. Right before I started making this video, I was welding up the second version roof rack for the trailer. And overall, what I'd like to see this channel do is I'd like to get my trailer done. I'd like to take Cassius here cross country. He's 13 years old, and I want to bring him to go pee in as many states as possible and sniff as many places as possible. And I think it would be really fun. But the big picture is, if this actually turns into something, I would like to do this every year in a different car. And I'd like to just keep modifying cars and keep going cross country in them. And eventually what I'd really like to see is a group of people going with me or meeting me in different states and doing like campground takeovers where we all meet up and just have car meets at campgrounds. And do that at various places throughout the country. Kind of like adventure drives that Rob Ferretti does, only instead of expensive, it would be free, or your own expenses or whatever. And instead of just driving to certain destinations, we could just meet up as I go across the country with a group of people. So I know it's a silly idea, but I kind of have this vision in my head of like when Forrest Gump was running across the country and people were joining in with him. Something like that, only with cars.
Their last question is, how much did the build cost you?
Oh jeez. Honestly, I don't know. And I haven't kept track, and I don't want to know. I'm sure it was a lot. Way more. I have been keeping track of the trailer, and let me put it this way. There is no way I'll ever get my money back from that thing. There is no way. But it is what it is. Sorry I can't give you a better answer for that.
Tranquify wants to know, what cars did you have before the NSX and S2000?
Well, I had my first car, which I'm not going to mention that one because I just told people previously, told you guys to go look it up and find the article that it's in. It does exist, and it'll say what my first car was. But my car before the NSX, which was the AP1S2000, which I still have up there on the lift, and I got that by trading a DC5 Type S and RSX Type S that I had dropped a K24 and turboed in and put a turbo in it. I traded that RSX to a friend for the S2000. And before that, I had a Camaro Z28 convertible, a 98 with an LS1. And then there was my first car. Oh, and I had a few Acura Legends, all sedans. I love those cars as well. At the time, those were the closest thing to an NSX that I could really get. They were like the luxury version of it. And so I bought a few of those. Kristen had one out as well. She had a Type 2 GS. My brother had two of them, the first gens. My dad had one or two, and I had three, I think. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hank 05T wants to know, you stop at a gas station, what drink, chip, sweet combo are you picking up?
Coconut Red Bull. For sweets, I'm not really big into them, but if it's either like a milkshake, if the gas station has them, or if I'm hungry and I really need something quick, a Snickers bar. As far as salty stuff, I'd get beef jerky or Slim Jim.
Yes, chips.
Chips.
Yeah.
Ridges, cheddar, and sour cream, or sour cream and cheddar over there.
HGK727 wants to know, does it even go fast?
No. No, it doesn't. But it will someday.
Next question. The Bully Stacks. Is it a Ferrari? How did you come about the build with the NSX inspiration?
With the inspiration for it? So again, when I was 9 years old and I first saw the NSX, I remember my parents used to I used to ride dirt bikes back then when I was a little kid. And I used to look out my parents' window and like look at the side of the road when I was driving and pretend I was riding my dirt bike on the side of the road and like hitting jumps, kind of just staring out the window and seeing things on the side of the highway. And I don't know if I'm the only person that did that. I'm sure I'm not. But I also flew across the country to visit my cousins back then. And I remember looking out of the plane window and kind of doing the same thing and just looking at all the little cars. They just seemed little because I was so high up. Looking at all the cars and the roads and thinking someday when I was old enough that I wanted to drive cross country. And it's something I've never done. And I've always been kind of competitive and in the racing and stuff, and I've actually never done a track day in my life, so that's something else I want to do when I go cross country. And then as I got older, I realized I liked camping and I don't do it enough, and I'm just kind of combining everything that I wanted to do in the one. I'm combining the camping, the driving cross country in one of my dream cars, and doing a road trip and hanging out with my dog, and it should be a great time. And it is a little stressful just because I've never done it before, but that's how I came up with the inspiration for it, and that's what I'm planning to do, and that's what this channel is all about.
Next question. Chrissy_TLS is really dying to know, when are you having our girlfriend on your channel?
Alright, so Kristen is my girlfriend, and here she is. She's on the channel. Say hi to
Well,
YouTube.
spoiler alert.
We're breaking up really soon.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Next question. CarDude_95. What suspension do you have on the NSX?
So it's D2 sleeves air suspension with airlift management and a Vera air tank and Vire 440 compressors. That's a mouthful. Oh, and then the NSX trailer is the same deal, only it has a different airlift management, but the same D2 sleeve bags. I probably should do a review of those and how I did the install and just go over all the details of it in a future video. So stay tuned for that. I will do that someday.
He also wants to know what hood is on the NSX.
So the one that I used to have on was called an SC hood. The one I have on it now is some cheap rep of a Type R, because I don't think anybody actually has a real Type R unless you own a Type R. So I forget the actual brand. It's some off-brand and it fits like crap. Next question.
Pandemic_diecast. What cars have you had through the years? Seems to be
that
a
one.
common
That one's
question.
already been asked.
Yeah.
Asked and answered. Sorry, man.
Michael.Lally.79. Have you thought about jacking it up and putting some 32-inch tires on it?
Yes, I have, and maybe I will someday. I think it would be awesome. It wouldn't be a permanent thing, but I would like to do it just for a little while. Just to, I don't know, just to kind of troll. I think it'd be fun. Just to troll the Overlanders.
He also wants to know, is it true Cassius is the brains behind your channel?
It is. He loves road trips. He gets so pumped up, and it's his favorite thing ever. And the last time I did it, we went to Niagara Falls. We both had such a blast, and I can't wait to do it again, which is why I really want to finish this trailer so I can take it cross country. I know the trailer isn't necessarily needed to go cross country, but considering I'm trying to do like the opposite of a cannonball run and kind of see how long I can drag out the cross country trip, it would definitely be convenient for storage and whatnot and supplies. Plus it's awesome. And it's a funny project. Very silly.
He also wants to know, why is your garage such a mess?
Because he hasn't helped me finish cleaning it. And I paid him to come over and help me finish cleaning it. Yeah, Mike, come over and help me finish cleaning the garage, please. It is a mess. It's horrible. Although it is cleaner right now than it was a week ago. A lot cleaner.
Honda Fit for Adventure is asking, your most favorite and least favorite question you get asked about your car.
So, as far as... Oh, that's a hard question. I don't like when people ask me how much I paid for it, and I don't like when people ask me how many miles are on it. Just because I feel like they don't really care, and the people that ask me that kind of just want to hear themselves talking away. As far as favorite questions, I don't know. I guess you guys are all asking me questions right now, and I hate it. Stop it. Alright, that's it. Next question.
Soul and Mind _. You still planning your cross-country trip?
I am planning it, yes, and hopefully everything will be ready by spring. I have to finish the trailer. Right now I have to finish the front of the trailer. The air suspension's in. The taillights are all working. The tongue is done. I might cut it a little shorter. It's all cosmetic stuff at this point, with the exception of the roof rack for the tent. I have to make the carbon fiber wheels, so they're matching Workmeisters that I'm going to put on, and I have to figure out how to make the front be hinged with doors and all that. And then I have to take it to go get registered and figure out how to insure it and all that stuff. And as soon as that's done, I'm going cross country with Cassius here.
RSX.Lombardi wants to know, when you gonna let me drive that bad Larry?
So that's my friend Luke. He's got a boosted RSX Type S. Yeah, man, we could swap cars for a little while. Let me drive the RSX because I never really got to enjoy mine when I built it. As soon as I built it, I traded it for the S2K. But if you want to drive the NSX and you want to be disappointed on how slow it is, feel free, man. Go right ahead. It's a really easy car to drive. It's basically just a spicy Honda Accord with a body kit and the engine in the wrong hole. So feel free, man. Come by whenever you want.
That sounds tempting. __ironic. How many hoes been picked up in that thing?
It's such a sausage magnet. I think I'll post a picture here actually demonstrating how much of a sausage magnet it is. Girls don't give a shit about the NSX. Girls like the S2000 better. They don't like the NSX. Dudes love the NSX. It's obnoxious. You just get surrounded by guys. And it's horrible. And try pulling into a gas station and having nobody talk to you. It's not going to happen. You'll get surrounded by dudes. So if you like dudes, go get an NSX.
Well, I like the NSX.
Yeah, you like the S2000 better, right?
No.
Oh, you know?
No. I like the NSX better.
Okay. Well, you're one of the exceptions to the rule, I guess.
Alright.
I don't believe you, though. I don't believe you.
Why?
Well, the S2000's a better car.
I prefer driving the NSX over the S2000. I think it's way more comfortable.
That's because you can't reach the pedals in the S2000.
I don't know, I prefer the shifting in the NSX.
Okay. You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
Alright. Next question. Lifted _ accordingly. When are we going to lift it?
I don't know. I would like to someday. I don't know if I actually will. But the air suspension gives me like 8.5 inches of ground clearance. It's insane. So, yeah.
Last question on Instagram. A_Vaughn_customs. When are we doing a collab?
Whenever you want. I'm down. Whenever.
Alright. Now over to Facebook questions. I'm just gonna say everybody's first name. Anatoly wants to know how much for the rooftop setup.
I think the tents you can get for as little as like $800 when they're on sale from REI. I don't remember exactly what I paid. I bought mine directly from Yakima. The roof rack itself, it wasn't that much in materials. I think I gave my friend Dave a few $100 to actually weld it up for me. So all in all, probably less than $1,500 if you can find the tent on Coupon. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure about this, I heard conflicting things, but somebody at Yakima told me that this particular tent, the 2-person one, is discontinued. But they do have the 3-person one, and there are other tent companies that make similar products. They're all basically the same thing. In fact, Yakima, I think, is probably the most budget friendly, but they're all exactly the same. So, slight differences.
Alexander is asking, what is your dream car?
So, I don't have a dream car per se. I have a lot of dream cars. My NSX was definitely up there and #1 for a while. But I also would like an old 991 or 993 911 Turbo. The Bad Boys Porsche 911 Turbo. That thing is awesome. That's a dream car. I also like Carrera 4s. I guess like if I was really going to say like a dream car that's most likely unobtainable unless I really go work my balls off and suffer, is a Pagani. I would love to have a Pagani, but if I ever do get one, I promise it won't stay stock. I would do something crazy to it. But yeah, any Pagani, any one of them. They're all awesome. They're beautiful cars. So that's my answer. Final answer. Pagani.
Can I answer the question?
Sure. What's your favorite dream car? Or what's your dream car?
Lexus LFA.
Oh, LF. Okay,
Forgot
well the
that
LFA is
one.
up there too, but I'd still rather have a Pagani than an LFA.
Josh wants to know, is there a such thing as too much flex?
No. Flex them if you got them.
And Kenny wants to know, what were some of your favorite toys as a kid?
I mean, I liked dirt bikes and quads, but I don't know if those count as like toys when I was really little. G.I. Joe, Exo Squad, Ninja Turtles, Lego is still a favorite. Guns. I was a little pyromaniac when I was a little kid, so I made a flamethrower out of a super soaker. That was fun. Oh, super soakers were awesome. Alright.
Krista is asking, how do you feel about these and other 90s cars becoming almost too expensive for regular people to own because of the BAT phenomenon?
So BAT is bring a trailer, and so bring a trailer, it's an auction, and it kind of sets the price. I mean, the cars are worth what people are willing to pay for them, and Cassius, your tail's hitting the camera. Sorry, I don't know if that shook it properly. So, I mean, yeah, they're, I guess, becoming unattainable. Not all of them, but I still think the NSX is undervalued, especially since Type R Integras are getting into NSX territory. I think Supras are definitely overvalued. But there's still deals to be found on certain cars. I don't know exactly what I paid for my NSXs, but it wasn't that much relative to what they're worth. So I did get some super deals on them. I could probably sell them for twice as much as what I paid for them, if that's any indication of what you can find for deals. But there was somebody a few years ago picked up an NSX for 14 grand. He's a friend of mine just because it had a sunroof in it. Which, if you really hated the sunroof, you could have bought a roof off a crashed one and put it on. So there are still deals to be had. But yeah, RX-7s have like doubled in the last year or two. S2000s have gone up. MR2s are going up. It's pretty much, I think it's going to keep happening too. So if you can get one, and if you're ever going to get one, now is probably the time to do it. Get what you want, because if you want it, chances are somebody else does too. And eventually the prices will go up. So get whatever you can now before they do go up. And they'll be good investments. Better than a bank account, something you can drive and enjoy. That'll go up in value.
Brian is asking, how much does your head weigh?
I don't even know, what does that mean? I know I had a high school teacher.
Maybe it has to do with the flex.
Oh.
I don't know.
I had a high school teacher that used to have this horrible dad joke. He's like, want to cut off 10 ugly pounds? Cut off your head. That was a joke.
That's...
Yeah.
George is asking, how fast have you got it up to?
155-ish, but that was with a roof tent on it. So, yeah. I don't know. I kind of forgot the rooftop tent was on it. So, and I did 145 with the roof box. I've probably done the same speeds without those things on it too. But I very rarely do that. And if I do, it's always in a closed course.
In Mexico.
Yes.
Drew wants to know, do you like tacos?
I love tacos.
He also wants to know Pepsi or Coke.
Coke. And by the way, soft tacos are better than crunchy tacos.
And he wants to know, will you stop by my house with the trailer so I can see it in person?
If you'll take a ride by sitting inside the trailer, then yes. I already towed Shiraz around in it.
And that was the last question, but I have one more.
Okay.
And that is, what is your next car going to be?
Either a GTR R35, but preferably better than that would be a gated R8. And considering my potential budget for one, if I were to sell one of the NSXs, it would have to be a V8 R8. Because the V10s are just out of my budget. But whatever, still cool. And I would put a rooftop tent on it and probably buy another one that's crashed and turn it into a trailer and take that cross country too and just keep doing it every year.
Was the R8 you drove a V10?
It was a V10 Plus, yeah. And it was a fun car. Although, honestly, it didn't feel much faster than the NSX. I'm sure it probably is, but it just didn't feel that way. It felt heavy. It felt like a heavy car.
I'm sure it's very heavy.
I mean, granted, I didn't drive it for that long. It was really hard to rev match too compared to the NSX. For having a V10, the revs, the throttle control, it was really sensitive. The RPMs would drop so fast, like it had a super light flywheel or something. And so when I tried the rev match, you'd have to be so quick flipping the throttle to get it to rev match. Otherwise, was difficult. I mean, I'm sure if I drove the car for more than an hour, I would have had it down, and I only drove it for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, so I can't really judge the car based on 15 or 20 minutes driving it, but I do know that I do like them. And it would be my first German car if I were to buy one. So anyway, I guess that, any more questions? Or I guess that concludes questions and answers. So if you guys have any more, and you have any suggestions, or you want to see certain things in this channel, please comment below, and like and subscribe, and share some of my videos if you want this to turn into something bigger. It would be really cool if I could get YouTube money and do cool builds. So I promise I'll do things that haven't been done on YouTube before ever. I have an idea for a build that I really want to do if this takes off, and only one other person in history has ever done it, and he died because of it, but I really want to do it, so I'm not going to give away any more spoilers on that. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below, and stay tuned for more videos coming shortly. I try to release one every week. Thanks.